Today we continue our series introducing you to Bend's 9 city council candidates. We asked each one to talk about their leadership experience, reasons for running, and priorities. Cathy Marshall tells us about the candidates for seat 6.
There are 3 candidates for Bend City Council position 6. They include a newcomer to politics, Julia Brown, Bend business owner Rick Johns, and environmental advocate Mike Riley. We'll hear from them alphabetically, beginning with Brown.
My accent is South African. I was born in South Africa, like Elon Musk, but without the trillions. And so that's what people, when I meet them, they say, oh, I know you, I know your accent. And so I know that's not a pillar to stand on, but that's what people remember me by.
Julia Brown moved to Bend a few years ago to be near her son, who owns a business here. Her move to politics was inspired by a school board meeting she attended and felt the public was mistreated. As for what she'll bring to City Hall, she points to a long career in technology.
I've been in technology. Technology involves organizing a lot of groups of different skills and groups of people, including stakeholders. I've been leading people, motivating people, mentoring people.
Her motivation for what to prioritize if elected comes from what she says she hears constantly, complaints about homelessness.
So that if I categorize them, you would get those people that lost their jobs in the lockdown and haven't managed to recover. Another category of veterans that are suffering from PTSD and have become homeless. And then there's the drug addiction and there's alcohol addiction, and have programs for them so that there's hope for the homeless, not just, oh, there's this massive people living in tents. I'd like to get them categorized and have a program for each category. So that's what people here complain about the most, is the homeless.
City Council candidate Rick Johns has called Bend home for more than a dozen years, having moved here from the Bay Area. He owns furniture store Haven Homestyle on Northwest Bond.
I would like the public to know that I have a vested interest in the community. I pay a lot of taxes, and I think they're being misappropriated, especially with the transportation bond. The transportation around here is being compressed instead of increased. The planned right-of-ways, which are more focused on bicycles and pedestrians than they are cars.
Johns believes his years of work in architecture and construction give him a solid background.
I was in the building trades for a long time, both in planning, project management, and commercial construction in major cities, so I'm very adept at interpreting codes.
He says the change in code allowing homeless camps is wrong, and as a city councilor, he'd prioritize solutions.
That would be a collaborative effort between myself, the other city council, and the public. Increasing law enforcement, providing them with the funding that they need, and that is in the purview of the city council. That is something we can do. I'm data-based. I believe in studying the data, what works. For example, there are other small cities like us around the country that have very successful programs that work, and they work for everybody. I said it in my ballot statement. I don't want this to turn into Portland.
Bend has been home for avid cyclist and now city council candidate Mike Riley for 25 years. He co-chaired the effort to get the 2020 transportation bond passed.
So we got $190 million that we get to invest in projects like this to make intersection bottlenecks, to make traffic flow better, but also to make them safer for people who walk and bike.
Riley has been the executive director of the Environmental Center since 2008 and says he'd bring a solid grasp of the issues to City Hall.
So I believe I have a lot of experience, both working in an organization and bringing people together on the core issues in the community that I can bring to bear on the City Council. Bend has more than doubled since I moved here 25 years ago, and it's continuing to grow rapidly, and that's the projection into the future.
Growth would be Riley's #1 concern as a city councilor. It shows up, he says, in transportation, a lack of affordable housing, and an increasing homeless population. First, he recommends a clear camping code.
2, there's going to have to start to be more and more enforcement of that once it's put into place. And then 3, I think we really have to look hard, along with longer, medium, and long-term housing solutions for people who are houseless. We also really have to look at the managed camps. Where can we have some in our community? It's very difficult. People don't want them in their backyards, but it is part of the set of solutions that we need to move forward. And we should know that I'll work with everybody across the whole community and listen to them.
Riley, Brown, and Johns are running for a 4-year term on the council. And in case you're wondering, the council positions are paid at about $600 a month. Tomorrow night, we'll hear from the 4 candidates running for a partial term after a resignation earlier this year. Cathy Marshall, News Channel 21.
If you missed the special report Cathy did on the candidates running for seat 5 on the Bend City Council, you can find that on our website, ktvz.com.